Dream Launchers. Hey, welcome to our first of our leadership series. So we talked a few weeks back and discussed with some of our colleagues about doing something that is going to be meaningful to our followers. So we decided to put on a professional development series, and this is the first of them. So let's get started. In March of 2020, the unthinkable happened. The COVID crisis or the COVID pandemic. Everyone remembers that. It was a dark time in American history. It was a time where all the American businesses are shut down, travel was shut down, trading was shut down, and life as we knew it changed. During the first 4 weeks of the COVID crisis or the pandemic, over 700,000 people lost jobs. That went from a relatively good unemployment rate to an employment rate of 4.5% in the total population. Interestingly, the unemployment rate for African Americans and Hispanics was more like 20% at that time, according to some economists. So, how do we get through that time? Well, people were very proactive. I'm reminded of a book that I read that I mentioned in our last series, Who Moved My Cheese? Um, the book is about four rats. They were coupled up. There was um, Sniff and Scurry, and then there was him and Ha. And so it dawned on me that during the COVID pandemic, somebody moves everybody's freaking cheese. So the book, the principle is, you had Snip and Scurry. They kind of sniff, they look for cheese. They look for cheese all the time, whether they were hungry or not, and they found cheese. Him and Ha, they thought it out. They had inertia, they couldn't move, they were very analytical and strategic about finding the right cheese. And once they found that cheese, they coddled it, they adored it, they admired it, and they never thought that they would have to do anything else to find more cheese. Well, naturally, as time went on, the cheese dwindled, it got bad, and they eventually found themselves baffled at how this cheese disappeared. Meanwhile, Snip and Scurry never really got attached to that particular cheese, and it was their personalities just to always look for more cheese and a different kind of cheese. So they were prepared to weather that storm because they were always looking for new cheese. So I relate that to the COVID pandemic because our cheese was moved and it left a lot of people pivoting. GM went from manufacturing cars to manufacturing ventilators. Some of the alcohol producers slash distilleries, they went from producing bourbon that we like to producing hand sanitizer because they saw a need there. Some of the gig or restaurant businesses went from being a restaurant and bar that people gathered at to providing food to the community and providing alcohol that many of us needed to get through this time. So they were able to pivot on a moment's time because they were more like Snip and Scurry, always looking for a way to be proactive in the time of crisis. So when we talk about proactivity, it is one of the foundations of leadership development or professional development. If you read Steve Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that is the first habit. And when he gives a lecture about the 7 habits, he says that's decidedly the first habit because all other habits and successes spin off of being proactive. So, how did we use the COVID crisis back in March to actually be proactive? We developed this leadership series or professional development series. We worked on our social media presence because we were unable to do the same things that we were doing or our same business model that we had in going out and speaking to people. One of my most notable programs, the Student National Medical Association workshop that I was scheduled to do, got canceled. Actually, it went virtual. So I had to pivot on a whim and design a presentation that could be relatable in the time of social distancing and the time where we had to do it virtually. So I'm here to discuss with you guys about being proactive and how to use the time of change to energize yourself and actually come out of it with success. Some people say good leaders never find themselves in a crisis, and this is somewhat true. You're going to always run into things that are unanticipated or things that may not have gone the way you wanted to go, but the mark of a good leader or a professional is the fact that they anticipated some obstacles and they were able to navigate them effectively. So, that is our first tidbit on professional development: be proactive. So, if you want to work on your proactivity and learn more about being proactive, we invite you to engage with Dream Lunch. We do have some individual coaching slots left. You can go onto our website, check us out on our social media, or send us a message right here under this video and let us know that you want to engage with us, learn how you can use your proactive skills to get yourself to the next level. Well, that's all I have for you today. Remember, this is a series. We're looking forward to our next session. It is based on mindset, which will build on the principles of proactivity. See you next week, same time.